Hi, good morning and welcome to another video by Jim the Car Guy. Today we're going to take a ride in the customer's car because the customer complains that they're hearing a noise, like a thumping noise when they're driving the car and they go over bumps. So we're going to take this for a spin. We're going to see what the noise sounds like, and then we're going to get it inside. We're going to take a look at it and see what's going on. So it is the Chrysler or a Dodge. I didn't even look to see what kind of car it is yet, but we're going to take a spin and we'll see what the noise is. So let's get my jacket and let's take a ride. Alright, come on, let's take a walk outside and we'll take a ride and we'll see what it sounds like, and we'll figure out what's going on. Alright. Alright, well, it is a Chrysler. Alright, I don't really hear anything yet, but of course we're going to take it for a spin. So let's get my seatbelt on and we'll see what it sounds like. As soon as these people get out of my way, we'll take a ride and see. Now, it's supposed to be a bumping, thumping noise or whatever, so let's see what it sounds like. Actually, I don't know if you can hear that, but it doesn't sound like a bumping or thumping noise to me. Let's see. Listen now. It sure sounds like a brake grind to me. I don't hear any thumping or bumping or anything like that. Sounds pretty quiet. It's got like 58,000 miles on it. As you can see, it's got a low tire pressure light on. Oh boy. Alright. There's no doubt in my mind that I think that this guy is talking about... Yeah. I think this guy's not talking about a thumping or bumping or anything. He's talking about a grinding type noise, because this is really pretty bad. I already know that the rotors are going to be destroyed. Yeah, that? I know these rotors are going to be destroyed. So, all right, let's get the car back into the shop, and we'll pull the wheels off, and we'll see what happens. All right. Don't go nowhere. I'm going to open the door and we'll get the car inside. Alright, before I go any further, I just want to show you this. See you there? Look at the shape of that rotor. It's destroyed already, so we'll get it inside. Alright. Okay, let's get it in. Let's... Alright, let's get the wheels off, and once we'll set this up on the lift now. Okay, let's take a look and see what we got here. All right. First thing you're going to see is that the rotors are fairly rusty. We're going to check the brakes in the back right here now. And as you can see, right inside there, there's a little bit left on there, not much, but a little bit, not grinding yet. Back here is close also, so let's take a look at the rest of them. That side's similar. All right, these are, as you see, these brake pads here are much thicker than the other side, so we know rust is an issue. Let's take a look up front. No doubt about that, those brakes are dead, huh? All right, so we're grinding here already. Let's take a look at the other side. All right, and this side is extremely close as well. So, all right, let me get set up, get a couple of tools in here. We're going to figure out what we need and exactly what the cost is. Okay, the first thing we need to determine is exactly what's going on inside here. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to push this piston here back in all the way so we can check these slide pins to make sure that they slide correctly. The reason that this shoe on the outside is worn down as far as it is because it's probably staying applied due to rust. So we're going to check that to find out. So we're going to come in here, we're going to pry back on the piston, and we get in here with a small little pry bar like this, and you put it inside here, and you just keep constant pressure on it, just like this, and you'll see that that piston starts to push back in. See how it pushed in all the way? See that piston pushed all the way back in. Now what we do is we check these slide pins to make sure that they slide correctly. And as you can see, they do slide correctly. So we know that these slide pins are working correctly. We know that the caliper is good. Most likely it's just going to be rust on the brake pads themselves, which it is, because this pad is not even moving inside here. It's very rusty inside there, and it actually is staying applied. By that pad staying applied, it puts a drag on it, and it wears down the outer brake pad. So, all right, let's do the same thing on the other side, and then we'll go up to the front, and we'll do the same thing in the front. Okay, now we're up in the front here, and as you remember, this front was actually grinding down pretty badly. So we're going to put this pry bar inside here just like this, and we're going to bring it through on this side, and we're just going to put pressure on here, and we're going to push that piston back in on the caliper. Now you don't have to put a lot of pressure on it. You're just going to keep a little bit of pressure, and it'll slowly push back in. And once it pushes all the way in, then we'll check to make sure the slide pins are okay. But as I can see already, these slide pins are sliding. See? See how it's sliding back and forth? So we know these slide pins here are okay. So why did the brakes wear down more on this side than the other side? Because of rust inside here. So now when we change these brakes, we'll need to change the hardware kit and the brake pads, and we're going to lubricate the slide pins really well. So let's go to the back. We're going to make some phone calls, and we'll get some prices, and then we'll call the customer. So come on, let's take a walk. All right, let's make a phone call and get some prices. David, how you doing? It's Jim. Hey, yeah, Dave. 2013. It's a Chrysler 200. Right? Can I get a price on front and rear brake pads and rotors? Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Oh, really? That big, huh? All right, hang on. Let me just measure it real quick and see. I'm surprised 13-inch, that's a big rotor. It was like 11 and a half, you said? Yeah, all right, yeah, definitely the 11 and a half. Yeah, brake pads and the rotors. Okay, that's my cost, right? Okay. The, you have the Monroes, the better ones? That's always the way it goes, right? You can get it at 45, okay. That's my cost, of course, and that's a Monroe's. Serious? All right, let me measure them real quick. Okay. Smaller, first a smaller. Yep. 10-inch. A second. $20 each. Okay. 34, 37. Everything is good though, right? Okay, I'll call you right back. Beautiful. Okay, thank you. Bye. Okay, that's a little bit of a different twist to it. For some reason, this particular vehicle has two different size brake rotors in the front and the rear. It could be either 11.5-inch front rotor or a 13-inch rotor. It's actually the smaller, the 11.5, and the back is either 10.5 or I think it was 13 also, which it's 10.5. So, all right, let me work out a number. We're going to call the customer and we'll see what we're going to do. All right, let's see what he says. Louie, how you doing, Jim? Yep, I got it on the lift. Okay, it's just like I thought. The brakes up in the front are actually wiped out. That thumping noise that you were getting, that you said like when you go over bumps, you felt that thumping in the front. I don't really feel anything as far as a thumping noise. The only thing I do feel for sure is that the brakes are grinding. So I think that the problem that you're feeling is probably the brakes that's giving you the issue. So I think if you do the brakes, and we're going to do them all the way around, front and rear. Yeah. Okay. But it's the left front. That's the one that's actually. But when you apply the brake, you can hear that one grinding. So I think that's the noise you were talking about. Maybe when you talk to your son, find out for sure. But I think that it wasn't a thumping noise. I think it was more so the grinding noise that he was getting. Because even if you took your foot off the accelerator and took your foot off the brake, you still had that grinding noise, and I think that's the noise he was getting. Yeah. All right, so I'll do them all the way around. I got to change the rotors. There's no way I can save these rotors. They're actually destroyed. And as far as the back brakes, they're not grinding, but the right rear is worn down almost to the point where it's touching. So there's so much rust on these rotors in the back too. We are going to change the rotors in the back too. And one more thing I got to tell you too is the two right side tires on here are no good. They're bald. There's actually no threads on them. No, the two on the left side. They were probably changed at one time or another, because the tires, when you look at them, there's actually 3 different speed ratings on these tires. The one is a W, the other is an H, and the other 2 are T's. So, we are going to change the 2 tires on the. Well, best thing to do is change the two right side tires. We'll put the new ones up in the front. We're going to take the left front tire. We're going to put that in the right rear. And the back tires will be the ones that are from the left side because they're still okay. And we're just going to change the 2 on the right side, and we'll put those up in the front. Okay. All right. Definitely by the end of the day, I'll have it done for you. Let me just get on the phone. I'll order everything up, and I'll call you when it's all done. All right. Well, yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Very good. All right. I'll call you in a little bit then. Okay. Thanks. Bye. Okay. All right. Let's call up now. We're going to get the tires sent in. The two right side tires are as bald as can be. So, all right. Let me make that call, and we'll get those sent up now too. Hey, how you doing, Trace? Sounds quiet over there today. Oh, Oh, it sounds like you're everything okay. You sound like you passed everything all right. Oh, okay. I know that feeling very well. And then just remember, the more beer you drink, the better it gets. Hey, can you get me those the prime wells in too with them? Yeah, please. Okay, no problem. You think by 2, 3 o'clock I should have it? All right, sounds good. Hey, you got your truck running yet or no? Oh, beautiful. I got some scraps to get rid of. Hey, I had Eddie. Eddie was down here yesterday, and I had to do him a favor. So I said to him, here, put these tires in your truck, and I made him take 4 of my scraps. So, but when you come down, I'll get rid of the rest of them with you. Beautiful. All right, appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Bye. All right, that's it. Let's get started. Okay, so now we did push that piston back in. We talked about that before. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to come around in the back over here and we're going to take out this bolt. It looks like probably about a 13 millimeter. Same thing over here. We'll take this one out also. We're going to take this caliper, relocate that off to the side for now. Then we're going to take out the bolt back here. I think that's like a 17 millimeter or maybe an 18. We're going to take out that one and one more down on the bottom. And then we're going to take this mounting bracket here off the car, and then we're going to remove the rotor. Now the other side rotor was actually pretty rusty on there. You can see how it's pretty oxidized in here. Different ways you can get that off. One, you can bang the heck out of it with a hammer to get it off, or I'll show you a tool that I just recently picked up from OTC. It's a drum and rotor remover. Works pretty well. So all right. Give an example of what kind of tools you're going to need, and then we're going to get started. All right, first thing you're going to see is you're going to need a set of ratchets, fairly long. The longer the extension, the more leverage you're going to get out of it. It'll make it easier to get it off. Like I said, this is a 13 millimeter, and this one is probably a 18 millimeter. We're going to put that on over here. We're going to need some kind of a cleaning disc to clean off the rust that's on the mounting hub. If you don't have a disc, you can use a razor blade, you can use a scraper, whatever you use, but you have to get that rust off of there. We're going to need a tool like this to push the piston back into the bore as far as it can go. Some brake silicone grease, synthetic grease is what I use here. And this is that tool I was telling you about from OTC. I'm going to show you how this works, and it works pretty decent. So, all right, let's get started, and we'll talk about it as we go through. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take out those 2 bolts in the back that we talked about right back here. They were 13 millimeter. Now once you break them loose, you can usually take them out by hand. It's really not that tight. I'm going to show you what I normally do just so you don't have any confusion whatsoever, because the 2 bolts are actually 2 different bolts, and you want to make sure you put them back in the same location that you took them out from. All right, so we're going to take this bolt out here, and as you can see, I'm going to show you the difference. You see the one has got no rubber on it, and this one has a little rubber insert up on the top of it. So you want to make sure you put these back in the same location you took them out. If you're going to forget where they go, just stick them back in there just like that. For now, we'll just put that on the side like this. Next thing we're going to do is we never leave the caliper hanging by itself. What we always do is we try to hang the caliper by a piece of wire, string, whatever you have, just to get it up and out of your way. So we're just going to take it and we're going to hook it up out of our way, just like that, so it's not bothering us. All right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take off the mounting bracket here. Now remember, the mounting bracket is a little bit tight. If you have a 1/2-inch drive ratchet, that would work perfectly. If you have an air gun, you could shoot it off. But I'm going to do it the way you're going to be doing it at home, just using a ratchet and a regular socket. It's really not that tight. once you've got these bolts out. For now, we're just going to put this bracket off to the side someplace, and we'll come back to this shortly. Don't lose the bolts. I'm sure you heard me say that a million times. We're going to reuse these again. Okay, now you remember when I was telling you about the pads are being rusted into the mounting bracket? That's what's happening up here. These are actually not sliding as loosely as they're supposed to. They're actually pretty tight inside there. So we're going to come back to this. We just take a hammer and you can just tap them and they come right out. But we will come back to this shortly. So for now, we're just going to put this off to the side. That's what's left of the brake pad itself. You can see it wore down to nothing. All right, now, remember we talked about that tool? Okay, these rotors are pretty tight. You can get in here with a hammer and you could bang on the back of it. I also showed you that bolt trick where you can get in the back and you could tighten it up with a bolt. But I want to show you a tool that's made by OTC. This is the part number, 6980. You'll be amazed how this tool works. All right, so basically all you're going to do is you're going to take the tool. I used it on the other side already, so I'm just going to back this off right here. Right, put this on the lip on the back of the rotor there, and then we'll put it on the back of the rotor on this side as well. We're going to push it together just like this, and then we're going to tighten this up just to get a little bit of a grip till it holds it in place. So that stays just like that. Then we're going to take our band that came with the tool. Now, it's not often you see me use a impact gun, but I'm going to use an impact gun on this one just because it's a little bit easier for me, and being on the rotor, just like that. Pull it till it's snug, and then just tighten it up. Doesn't have to be tight, it's just going to keep the jaws from popping open when we hit it with the air gun. Now, we'll let that truck pass. Okay, now once you have this set up here, you have the piece into the axle, the shank into the axle. We have it held on the back of the rotor here, and we have our strap around the outside like that. Next thing we're going to do, now if you don't have an air gun, you can get on here with the wrench. I think this is a 1-inch if I'm not mistaken, but I'm going to actually use the air gun because it's a little more work for me doing it the other way, and I'm just trying to show you how this works. All right, put it on here like this, and now we're just going to shoot this with a little bit of air, and you'll watch how easy that pops right off. So we'll cover your ears. See, it pops right off. So to release it, you just pull on this, and we're just going to release the tool. Okay, we can take this off. You just push in on the sides, pull it out, and you can take it right off. And then the rotor comes right off just like that. All right, so that's how the OTC tool works to pull the rotors off. All right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to clean up this face right inside here, because everywhere that rotor has to touch has got to be clean. So remember we talked about it. Either you're going to use a disc like this to clean up all this rust, or you're going to use the scraper or whatever you're going to do. But I'm going to use this. So let me clean this up, and we'll come right back. Okay, now after you have everything all cleaned up here, we could take the rotor and we put our rotor back on like this. Now, the rotor itself moves around. The rotor itself, as you know, is loose. What I normally do is just put a lug nut on here and screw the lug nut down by hand as far as you can. and that'll keep the rotor from moving around. It'll hold it nice and tight. This, I just want to tell you, this did have oil on it, and I used brake cleaner to clean that oil off. So make sure you clean the oily substance off the face here, as well as in the back, which I already did. So, all right, let me change my gloves, and we're going to do the hardware on that mounting bracket. Okay, and then to take the hardware off of here is very simple. You just get in here with your fingers and just push it off like this. If that don't work, you can get in here with a pry bar and just pry it off, or a screwdriver or whatever. Now, I just want to point this out to you. If you have a significant amount of rust in here, you'll need to clean this up. But as you can see, this one here has almost no rust on it whatsoever, so we're not going to worry about this. So what you're going to do then is, I always take a little bit of the synthetic grease and put it in here like this. And then we install our new hardware, and it pushes on just like that. See? Same thing on this side here. It just pushes right on just like that. Alright? Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of the grease, and we're going to put it on each one of the slide pins. And make sure they go back in the same hole they came out of. Just like that. Put it back in here. And then everywhere that the brake pad touches, you want to put a little bit of the synthetic grease, just like this. Every place the brake pad touches. Right? Now, next thing we're going to do, let me just show you this actually. You see this has got the indicator on here, the disc indicator. You got to make sure you put the indicator in the same location that it came off of. So we're going to put this indicator back on here, just where it came off. And it just snaps right in there. Just like that. All right, and now we know that this was an inner brake pad because you can see the circle here. So we're going to put this one on the inside, just like this. Right? And then we're going to take this pad and we'll put it back in here, just like that. Right? And now we'll take this and we'll put this back on the car, and we'll start to wrap it up. All right? And we're just going to put this over the top, just like this. We're going to squeeze the brake pads together like that. And now we're going to catch those bolts in the back that we previously took out. All right, and once you've got both of them caught in the back, then you can tighten them up. Let's get this twisted out a little bit here. All right, we'll tighten up the bolts in the back that we previously took out. Okay. Make sure our brake pads are pushed in all the way. And now we'll put our caliper back on. But before we do, we want to make sure that that piston is pushed back in all the way. See the piston? See that piston right there? We have to make sure it's pushed in all the way. So we're going to push this back in the rest of the way because it's not in all the way. Now you can use the new brake shoe pad, or you could even put the older brake pads in here like this if you wanted to. Doesn't really matter. Right, you can use the old ones and just push it back in the rest of the way. Now they make lots of different tools you can use to do this. This one is just one that's made by Snap-on. I've had this just about forever, so I've been using this forever, so that's the one I stick to. All right. So now after you got that push back in, we're going to lubricate every place that the brake pad is going to touch. It's going to touch the inside, so we're going to lubricate everywhere the brake pad is going to touch. And then we're going to take this, bring it over the top here, take that bolt out that we had here, put it over the top, just like this. And then we'll do the same thing on the bottom. Just push it down over the top like this and catch our bolt back through here. And once you have them both caught by hand, then you could tighten it up. Okay, that's it, we're all set. Just want to straighten it out so I can show you now. So, all right, so now we're gonna just go over everything we did. All right, we have our mounting caliper bracket is put back on. We tightened up those two 18mm bolts in the back. We installed a new hardware kit. We put our new brake pads in and lubricated every place that they're going to touch. We put our mounting caliper back onto the bracket. We tightened up the bolts and lubricated every place that slides here as well as down here. We put our rotor back on. We cleaned up the surface below the rotor, and that's it. We're all set. We did the other side already. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to go in the back and we're going to continue in the back. So, all right, let's move our stuff to the back and we'll continue. Okay, these are the back. Now, the backs are almost exactly the same as the front. There's only just a little bit of a difference in the back. We don't need to remove that mounting bracket that we did in the front in order to get that rotor off. It comes right off. One thing I will point out is that that bolt right up on top right here, it's going to interfere with this brake line right here. So what I'm going to do is we're not even going to take that out. What we're going to do is we're going to remove the lower bolt right here, and then we're going to rotate the caliper up, and we're going to slide the entire assembly back and out of the way. But I'll show you how to do that. All right, first thing we're going to do, which we already did, but I'm going to show you again anyway, is you're going to get in the back over here with a pry bar, and you're going to pry that piston all the way back in as far as it can go, right? And once that piston's pushed in as far as it can go, then we'll start taking it apart. So I want to make sure that piston's pushed in all the way, and that's how I do it, right? So that's that. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to get that wrench, and we're going to take this off, the socket, and we're going to take this off here. It's a 14mm, and then we're going to get this rotor off, and we're going to replace it with the new one. So, all right, let me show you how we're going to do it. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take off that one right there. Okay, now, it's just this bolt on the bottom right here. We just break it loose. And then we'll take this bolt out. All right. Now, you just take the caliper, just like this. You lift it up, just like that. And you push it and just rock it back and forth. And you'll see that piece there slides right out of here. And we're going to put this up on the top right here, just out of the way for now, and we're not going to do anything with that. All right? Next thing we're going to do now is we're going to take off this brake pad in the back here, and obviously we're going to throw it away because, as you know, it was actually rusted. See how this one is thin? and that's thicker because it was rusted in the mounting bracket back here. All right? Now, different things you can do. We could put that puller on that I showed you in the front, which goes over the top here, centers right here, and pulls the rotor off. Or you can use your hammer and give it a shot right back here, and we'll try to knock it off. So let's try that. If that doesn't work, we'll get that tool, just like this. As you can see, it came right off. That's why I said you really can't do much of anything with this, because of the rust that's all around in here. There's really nothing you can do with that. All right, so next thing we're going to do now is, you see that little plug right in here? We're going to take that little plug right out because we have to reuse it on the new rotor. And the way you take that out is very simple. You just go in the back with a tool, pry bar, screwdriver, whatever you have, and you take that and you push that piece out through the back, just like this. And you're pushing it right into your hand so you're not losing it. And then we'll throw this away and we'll grab the new rotor and we'll continue. Okay, now what I was doing over there is I actually cleaned this off because it had oil all over it. While it's during the shipping process, they coat it with oil. All right, we take our new plug, put that in here, and by the way, to clean that off, you just use some brake clean. That little plug pushes right back inside there like that, and we're going to put this rotor off to the side for now. And what we're going to do next is, you see in the back, this little clip right here, we're going to change these. These are the hardware, and this is usually why a brake pad stays applied, is because it gets rusty inside here, and when it gets rusted, the pad doesn't slide. So we're going to take this off. We're going to also take off this one. We're going to throw these away because we don't need them any longer. And the only thing I want to point out is, you see up inside here and here, this one is actually a little bit rusty. So you've got choices. You can clean it out with a piece of sandpaper. You could take a file to it, or you could try to use a razor blade. I use a file and just clean off the surface rust. You're not going to do any real grinding or anything. You're just cleaning off the rust. Same thing here. All right. And next thing we're going to do, we're going to put our new hardware on, and you put a little bit of grease below where the hardware is going to connect on, and then you just take it over the top and you push it and you lock it in just like that. Same thing on the top, just like that. All right, so that's done there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some grease, and everywhere that the brake pad is going to touch, you grease it. Right? I'm just going to use a little more than I normally would on this one. Now, you could put this on later on, but I put it on first before I put the rotor back on, because I could work right through here, just like this. Make sure when you put the brake pad on, don't put it on this way, because that's not the surface you're going to touch. Make sure you put it on this way with this surface like this. And then you push it all the way in, like that, and that brake pad is done. Next thing we're going to do now is we're going to put that rotor back on. Now, I do want to point this out to you. If this surface here is rusted or has a lot of rust on there, you'll need to clean this off. This one is nice and clean, so we're not going to do anything with it. But if it was, you would get in here with a tool like this and clean this all off. If you don't have that tool, you can get in here with a scraper and scrape the rust, but that's not the case here. It's nice and clean. All right, so we're going to put this over the top just like this, and we're going to push it all the way back on, like that. And then, let's see if I can get you to see this up here. We're going to take our brake pad. This brake pad here has got to come out, of course. And the way you do that is you just grab a pry bar, you get in here and you pry out on these little tabs right here, just like this. And you want to bend them out of your way, just like that. And then you take this, and you tap it out. And the reason you have to tap it out is because you see this little indented, this little piece right here? That sits into the little groove inside the back of there. All right? Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of this grease and we're going to put it everywhere on here that it's going to touch up against the rotor. Up against the caliper. Like that. We put it over the top, just like this, and you push it down until you hear it snap in place. Always want to make sure it snaps in. See how it's flush against here now? If that's not flush against there, that means it didn't snap in. And if you take this out for a ride, that brake pad's going to come out. So make sure it snaps back in. All right, we're going to lubricate every place here that the brake pad is going to touch the inner brake pad, just like this. And now this piece here, we're going to lubricate here before we put it back together, just like that. And you put it over the top like this, and you slide it back in, and you just work it back and forth, and it pushes all the way in. We're going to take out this bolt here, push this down, and now we're going to lubricate this pin here. Like that, and then we'll screw it in, tighten it up, and that's it. All right, let's take this off and we'll talk about what we did. Okay. Okay, here we go. We cleaned up the face of the rotor here, got it nice and clean with that brake cleaner, got all that grease off there. We cleaned up any rust that was on this face here, which there wasn't any in this case, but if you do have it, you'll need to clean it. We put our new hardware kit down inside here where the inner brake pad connects onto. We lubricated every place that that brake pad is going to touch. We also installed our brake pad on the back and lubricated every place that it's going to touch in the caliper. We lubricated our slide pins here, and we tightened them both up. That's it, we're all done, all right? Okay, so that's it, you're all done, all right? We did do the other side already. It's all finished on the, what are you looking up there for? Come on down a little bit. All right, we did the other side, that's all back together ready. We did the fronts, that's done also. This side's back together. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna, this person's looking at me like I'm losing my marbles. Give me a minute. All right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to get in the car. We're going to step on the brake pedal and pump the brake pedal up till it's nice and firm up on top. We're going to put our wheels on. We're going to take it for test drive, and I guarantee there's going to be no noise coming out of this car anymore. It's going to be perfect. All right. So if you have any questions or comments, you need to talk to me about anything, you send me an email. I'll be more than happy to talk to anybody about anything. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. And by the way, I will put a link down the bottom for that tool for OTC, just in case you want to take a look at it online. You don't use it a lot, but when this thing is rusted like that, it does save you from breaking your coconuts. So, all right, I'll put a link down the bottom and let me know what you think. All right, as always, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.